Evidence of alleged corruption in the Biden White House and new details about the filthy, dirty scheme to paint Trump as a Russian asset in 2016 as well. White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain has now been dragged into the allegations of corruption against Hunter Biden. And with Ron Klain's involvement, of course, comes new allegations against the President of the United States, Joe Biden. They've been hand in hand for a long time. Today, the White House asked again if they're absolutely sure that the president is as squeaky clean as he has claimed to be in the past.
The president has said that he never spoke to his son about his overseas business dealings. Is that still the case?
Yes.
So they're not going to be able to toe this line for much longer. There's simply too much evidence that Biden was not only aware of what Hunter was doing, of course he was, but that he likely groomed his son for it. Biden's chief of staff, Ron Klain, has been around for a while. He was with Biden in 2012 when Klain went to Hunter 10 years ago asking for a $20,000 donation from the vice president's son to the foundation that looks after the vice president's residence, but told the now first son to keep it low-key to prevent bad PR. On top of that, Klain wanted the payment in small doses. He wanted $2,000 each. 10 payments at $2,000, something like that. Nothing shady about that, right? That doesn't arouse any suspicions. Unbelievable. As far as this foundation that looks after the vice president's residence, a 1999 report on Vice President Al Gore from the Center for Public Integrity found that for Al Gore, the vice president's official residence is a tool to cultivate some of his biggest donors. You see where this is going. Gore used the vice president's residence foundation to cultivate relationships with generous donors, many of whom at the time were now supporting his bid for the presidency. So you start to see how they do all this, how this all works. We're peeling it all back for you. So basically, Hunter donated $20,000 of his dirty money, that we all know how Hunter makes his money, donating it straight to his father. And this, frankly, isn't even that big of a deal from what we've seen so far. This is just another piece. A much bigger piece of this puzzle is well in the works at this point, as a witness in Hunter's grand jury probe was asked today, who's the big guy? You know, the big guy who had 10% held for him by H? To quote the mainstream press, whenever they talked about Trump-Russia collusion, the walls are closing in. Although this time it's a real actual story with evidence that's in black and white that's being reported. You know, it's not just some made-up nonsense. One other big development today, this one on Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman. You've heard that name a couple of times in the last few months. The Durham probe continuing to pay dividends. The latest filing showing Durham alleging that Sussman, while working for Hillary Clinton years ago, wrote in a text message the lie that may very well bury him, claiming that he was meeting with the FBI to discuss evidence of Trump colluding with Russia on his own accord. In reality, Michael Sussman was hoping to trick the FBI into believing that he had no agenda, and he lied to them when he did that, when in reality, of course, he was working for Hillary Clinton. He was trying to trick the FBI into launching a probe against Donald Trump, a probe that would be based on a dirty dossier that was created in a lot of ways by him and others in the campaign for political purposes. Today, Durham releasing Sussman's text message to an FBI agent named Jim. Jim, it's Michael Sussman. I have something time-sensitive and sensitive I need to discuss. Do you have availability for a short meeting tomorrow? I'm coming on my own, the critical part. I'm coming on my own, not on behalf of a client or company. Want to help the Bureau. Thanks.